This is Kirk.
And it's Byrd. It's the Kirk and Byrd show. And we are thrilled to have a 757 legend. We'll talk a little bit about his history and where he came from and background. But right now, we're pleased to have the Menchville boys varsity basketball coach, Lamont Strothers, a legend out of Christopher Newport. But right now, we're talking about VHSL. It's Division 5, right, Coach?
Correct.
Division 5 high school basketball. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Coach. You got a big game coming up, Norfolk Scope, on Friday night, and it's against Kecoughtan, a red-hot Kecoughtan that's lost their first game, won 20 in a row. You and I were talking off camera. You've got a great team. You've got, I believe you're 18-5, but your 5 losses are to great teams. Kecoughtan twice, Varina, which is a powerhouse. How you feeling about Friday night? Your team played well against Bethel and going up against a great Kecoughtan team. How do you feel about that bus ride over to Norfolk?
Well, we're excited about it. You know, one thing you know, and people know of my teams, we're going to show up. You know, and it's going to be, we've lost a total of 5 games by 13 points, I believe.
That's right.
Wow.
And you know, how I explain it to people, I explain it like this. Our kids are, yes, they're juniors and 1 senior, but they're actually sophomores and 1 junior. And so those guys are just learning to really sail on their own. Because I had my oldest son, Alan, and a few other guys that kind of carried that stick for them for a while, but they didn't get that fire last year because they got that fire last year. We sell out just about every night, so they would have been in front of a packed house and getting used to that type of atmosphere. But now they had to kind of stand on their own 2 feet quick. You know, you kind of had to hit the ground running, and so we've weathered those storms. I mean, we played, you know, those losses were in the last minute or so. And so what I tell the kids and I tell everybody, you know, when it comes to my coaching or just coming to coaching period, when you're getting blown out, I say that's talent. But when we're losing close games, I blame it on coaching. I said, so we have to do a better job coaching at the end.
That's a good point. Okay. All right. So, Coach, let me know. Excuse me. So this Menchville team, how long have you been there? And you're having a great season, but how long have you been there, and what have your previous seasons been like?
Well, I took over for Coach Moore, one of my mentors, when he passed away. And
Ben Moore. He was my middle school PE teacher.
Oh yeah.
He was Denby when we were in high school when I was playing ball. He was at Denby.
You're right, exactly. He taught my wife. My wife is from Denby, so
I went at Reservoir Middle School.
yeah. So I took over then, and that year when I took over, we were 0-5, and we finished 8-12 that year, and we've been 17 wins plus ever since. You know, so we went 17-6, then we won 20-3, no 20-4, and then this year we're 18-5.
Coach, so tell us about your team. You've got Dallas in the middle now. I hear 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", and then you've got 18. Tell us about obviously you got some size, but tell us about your style of game. We watch a lot of basketball, but we're not able to watch that much video. But tell us what people see when they see you play, whether it be a fast pace, are you guard oriented? Let us know a little bit about the 2021-22 Monarchs.
So we have Dallas in the middle. Dallas is about 6'9.5", and he's come a long way. Dallas is a senior, but he's in grade, but he's actually a junior in age.
Okay.
Wow.
So, you know, my thing with him, I've been trying to get the coaches to understand that you can take this kid and redshirt him, and he's going to be a gem down the road. you know, because he has a tremendous upside. I mean, people doesn't know his history and where he's actually come from. He's been training with me since he was little, and then he kind of went away. Then he came back, and now he's one of the focal points on our offense. He can shoot the ball. You know, he can face up. He can do some things. You know, sometimes he's still a little awkward though. I mean, he still doesn't have a whole lot of body hair, so he's still kind of growing and filling his body out. And then you have my son Etienne, who's been under the tutelage of his brother Alan, who fusses him out every time he watches film. Then he can shoot from the volleyball. Everybody knows he can shoot from the volleyball line. You know, he can create. You know, he's not as athletic as Alan was or is, but he's starting to fill out and get into his body. You know, play over the rim and different things. AJ Clark.
Heard great things about him.
He's going to be a Division I player. We're just waiting for that moment. Somebody pull the plug. He's a lefty. He can defend. He can get to the basket. He's got great legs, great hands. So I mean, very athletic. Again, another kid that's been with me since he was 10 years old, 10, 11 years old. We have Devin Keasey. His brother played for me, started. All those kids been with me mostly since they were 9 years old playing at U. Devin is about 6'4", and he's a banger. He's also a heck of a defensive end, but he didn't play. He hasn't played football in the last couple of years. So he doesn't mind throwing his body around, and he can step out and shoot the ball. All my kids can shoot the ball. Everyone knows that. One thing is that we really work on is being able to shoot the ball. I mean, this basketball now is a shooter's league. Yep. If you can shoot the ball, you can survive. Shooters survive. Then I got Andre Carter, lanky kid, about 6'4", long, 6'3.5", maybe, long kid, athletic. Again, people have to know these guys' history to even be in the position that they're in to be a winner or considered a winner. Darian Parker is another guard that comes off the bench. Eric Turner, Nassan Gray, who's that? Sincere, Williams. All those guys get a lot of minutes. We play about 10, 11 kids, and we get.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. I'm Rusty. I know you're teeing up to ask a question. So you got. No. But so you've got a rotation of 10 or 11, and that's a pretty good sized team, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you got size. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So we get after it. We kind of we try to neutralize your best player, and I tell people all the time is they ask how I neutralize this guy, neutralize that guy. I said, well, the way I do it is I treat him as I was defending me.
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah. So let me get this. Is this the game? Is this that you're against Kecoughtan? That's a semifinal.
Yep.
Correct.
Regional semifinal. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this: I want to go back to what you said earlier about when you guys would play at home, the place is usually packed. And is that commonplace in the Peninsula District? And I bring that up because when I was growing up and playing and living in the Peninsula, that's how all the games were. I mean, sometimes Bethel wouldn't have a good record, but we could be going to play Lafayette, and it was fun. It was, the crowds were into it, and I'm hoping it's like that. But up here in Northern Virginia, it's a little different. You don't get the crowds, you don't get the same enthusiasm. But I'm glad to hear they're doing it. Is that just a Menchville thing because you're successful, or do you see that when you go to some of the other away games?
You have some teams that are, well, you quote unquote rival games, so you're going to have crowds there. But we've, as of the last 4.5 years, we've had the crowd to follow us. Because we were electric. We throw lobs, we dunk, we get ESPN dunks. We had a guy top 5 dunks on ESPN.
Wow.
when we played Hampton 2 years ago. So I mean, and people enjoy watching us play. I'm not saying they don't enjoy everyone, but they enjoy watching us play. I've had other coaches from different schools, from colleges, and enjoy watching our kids play because the Peninsula, we try to teach kids how to play basketball. And I'm not saying other districts don't, but we've had success. A lot of success in getting kids, athletes in different places,
right.
Overall.
Yep.
And so we I have a kid at Wichita State. I have my son at East Tennessee.
Oh wow!
So I mean, we've put out some good talent here in the last few years, and it's just a testament of we always, if you see my moniker on Twitter, my hashtag is always says it's just the way we work, and so we try to get in the gym and we've been successful because we've been allowed access to our facilities.
Okay.
So that's huge for us.
So, Coach, big game Friday night. Your kids are going to play in front of a big crowd. It's the regional finals, and we all agree. We had Matt Hatfield on last night.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that five is the best division. No offense to the other divisions, it's just loaded. No bulletin board material, but what do you need to do? What does your team need to do well against the Kecoughtan team that you lost to twice by a razor thin margin? And the stakes are high because you're going to punch. If you win, you punch your ticket to VCU in the Siegel Center.
Right. So we the first game we lost, we were up 16 and we ended up losing the lead. And that is, I believe that was because of the moment. That was still only like the fifth game, and our kids, DJ guys who I've coached a lot of those kids and trained a lot of those kids on that team, it's on Kecoughtan team as well. So I trained a lot of kids in the area, and they played, like I said, played for me this past summer on Boo's team or on my team, and they kind of played at a higher level, right? Especially DJ. And so I think the moment kind of got to us that game. The
Right.
second game at their place is details. We kind of lost in touch with the details of the game plan. And we fell asleep at the last second, and they got a backdoor layup to win the game.
Yep.
And which game it could have went overtime. We could have won it by one, but it didn't happen. So the biggest thing is we have to stay paying attention to details and follow the game plan. And I think we've been through enough fires that we're ready for the moment.
Right. I had two questions, Rusty. I want to turn it over to you and talk about Coach's illustrious careers, because we got so many friends from Christopher Newport, the Blue League, Summer League. But this is what I like. This is what I like to do with coaches. I'm gonna put you on the spot. All right. Here
All right.
it is. Can the Menchville Monarchs win the state championship?
Absolutely.
Yes. Bam. I do not like guys who are like, well, we're gonna take it one day. You damn right you can win it. I mean, you're a good team, but you got size, you can shoot.
If we're in the playoffs, we can win it. It's it's all about surviving advance and who's playing well at that moment.
Right.
And because it's one and done. So you don't get another game. So who's playing well at that moment is gonna win the game.
Get hot.
Yeah. So I don't feel like we can't win at all. I mean, you got to realize who you're talking to. I've won at every level. May not won the championship, but when I mean at every level, I've been successful at every level. I've been successful to get there. There's no way I would sit here and tell you, hell no, I don't think we can win.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Good stuff. So let's now for our audience, people that may not know, let's go back. Lamont Strothers. So, bro, you played at Christopher Newport with a number of my friends. Lee Martin, really good friend of mine. Again, growing up in the Denby area for a while before moving to Hampton. He was on that squad. I used to check you guys out. You all were really successful at Christopher Newport, but I want to go back a little bit before that. So you're from Suffolk. So you're from, back then for us, it was the 804, but you're from the 757. You then tell us a little bit about your story about how you got from high school to CNU and then what you did in the professional ranks.
So whenever I'm podcasting or I'm telling people the story, I have to be, I'm a little vague because my book is coming out and it's called Blurred, it's called Blurred Victories. And without giving away everything in the book, I kind of
well, okay. But let me just say this, Coach. So yes, don't do that, but definitely come back when you're ready to promote the book. We will help you with that. Come back.
That's fine. I'll do that. So
when are you releasing it, Coach?
We're still at my wife is the editor because she's an English teacher. So I'm kind of on her time and in my time. I have a publisher just waiting for us. So
okay.
Yeah. So and I will definitely keep in touch with you guys and let you know. But I mean I can talk a little bit about, how I ended up at CNU.
Okay.
I was a football player as well. I had football offers. But I didn't know much about football. I was just playing because I didn't want to be the coward in the neighborhood, or my brother played, and my brother was recruited by Notre Dame, and so so I was a starting quarterback, starting middle linebacker. So I was the only quarterback in the district with a horse collar. You remember the old horse collar?
Yeah, man.
And when I played for Beth, I played JV for Bethel. I played quarterback, and I was the same thing, middle linebacker. I was like, they were throwing out my arm pads. I was like, you thought you got me? I'm about to get you back.
So I ended up, I was leaving school in the district. I ended up, when I came out of high school, I signed up for the military. I signed up to go in the Army. And then there was a situation that didn't allow me to go into the Army without, and a lot of people know that story, but I was sucker punched with a pair of brass knuckles in my left eye, and which damaged my sight in the eye. And so I couldn't pass the physical again. So when I went back up to the MEPS, I got an honorable discharge before I did one day in the military. And so I played in the league, and that's why I met Coach Ross. I actually stole the ball from him, dunked on him, and I scored 28 points in that half. And when I went to him to introduce who I was, and you got to realize who he had on his team. He had Kevin Ricks, which
Yep.
Who was ex big time college guy. He had David, he passed away. David Pope.
Pope, that's right.
Yeah, he had David Pope. Guys that John Stevenson, Tony Clark. He had all those guys. He had a squad, and they was ex-pros, ex-college guys. And I was just an 18-year-old brat and working at Smithfield Packing, and I came in and scored 28 on them in one half. And so I went and
Coach, your video went out for a second.
Yeah. One second.
No worries. We're not on live TV, man. It's all good.
Yeah. So I went and introduced myself to him and told him who I was and that I wanted to go to college. And he couldn't believe that I had not been to college. He thought I was lying to him. And I said, man, I've not been to college. I want to try out, because someone introduced me to him. And that's how I ended up at CNU. Then after CNU, I wasn't a big NBA dreamer. That wasn't like my goal. My goal was to be an electronic engineer. But basketball started taking shape. And one of my professors told me, he said, hey man, it's going to be, because I had to go to HU and to finish courses that weren't being offered at Christopher Newport. So, and it was very taxing, but he saw that this basketball thing was taking off. He saw that where I did, I was just out there playing. And he said, hey man, I think you got a future in this. You might want to pursue it. And so he said, so you might want to change your major and you can always come back for it, if that's what you want to do. And so I did that, and I ended up getting drafted. to the NBA. And I went over to the PIT. I led that in scoring. I went up to I got invited to Orlando Classic. And Marty Blake, who was a big fan of mine, and so was Red Auerbach and George Gervin. When he told me, I called him when I got back from Orlando Classic. The big place was the getting out to the Chicago Combine.
Right.
That's where you wanted to get to. So I called Marty and I said, hey, Marty, Mr. Blake, I need to get out there to that combine. He said, son, don't worry about it. You're going to be drafted. He said, you'll be drafted. I said, yeah, but I can get to that combine. I can get drafted higher. He said, you can also get to that combine and not get drafted.
That's a good one.
So I said, okay. And I just left it at that. And
right.
Sure enough, I got drafted. And at that time, I was the highest Division III draft pick in the history of the NBA draft.
Yep.
Wow. 42nd
by the Golden State Warriors. Is that correct?
43rd.
43rd.
Right.
I mean, back then they had how many rounds, Coach?
2.
You just had 2?
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I know they had 3 back in the 86 draft. So,
right.
That's pretty incredible. But, well, look, we follow Menchville basketball and you personally on Twitter. So for our podcast, it's the Kirk and Byrd BYRD show on YouTube. We're also available on just the verbal if you want to listen. We specialize in high school, regional, those things, the Kirk and Byrd. And then we're at the Kirk and Byrd on Twitter. So
right.
we'll put those. And, before we let you go, I want to get your thought on Christopher Newport right now. Women are number 1, men are in the top 10. How special would it be for Christopher Newport? I think it's Paul Tribble's last year to win maybe men and women's basketball nationally.
I was coaching the team that when we made it to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you were? Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was the assistant coach on that team, and and I mean it's a special thing, man. I mean it would be great for the coaches and the school itself. I mean because we made it to the Sweet 16. I think I didn't make it to the Elite 8. I think we only made it to the Sweet 16, and once you get into the Elite 8 and things like that, I mean it's you're playing some basketball, and
right.
And whether it's Division III, Division I, because there are a lot of great players in Division III basketball that get overlooked, and for one reason or the other. Mm-hmm. And it would be amazing if both of them could win it. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Always been a big CNU fan. My dad, when he retired from the military, he moved back to Newport News and had a house on Shoe Lane for about 20 years.
Okay, that's right down there with Coach Moore.
Yeah. And CNU kept begging, hey, we want to buy your house, want to buy your house, want to buy your house. He kept holding out. Right. Finally, he sold, and he did it at the right time, man. He got a big pot of money, and then they got some building there now. Right,
no question. Yeah. So I saw the show the other night. You had Matt up there.
Yep.
So I put the link of the show in our band for our kids.
Okay.
And, I said I need y'all to hear this because we were picked second.
Hey, I keep it real. I'm not gonna shine your behind. Right. I am picking Kecoughtan. However, Coach, you have the talent to beat Kecoughtan and win the whole thing. And right. Believe me, if I didn't think that, I would not blow smoke. You've got a great squad. I would say this: you're due to beat Kecoughtan. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. I'd rather be in your position than Coach Goss's position, but
no question. I told the guys the same thing. I said the pressure's not on us. The pressure's on Kecoughtan.
Yeah.
And I just told them. I said, hey, we got to be in charge of our own rescue. No one's going to save us. And we got to be ready to play.
All right. So here we go. Dallas, Etienne, AJ, Devon, Andre, Darian, I'm picking against you. Okay. Bulletin board material. So you go out there
and prove Kirk wrong.
And follow us all on Twitter, because you can shoot us, you can bust on us and tell us how wrong we were. Right, Rusty?
Well, Coach, I don't know if I want to pick one. I just would love to see somebody from the Peninsula District win it all. Okay, let me just say,
it's gonna happen.
I love where I grew up. I love that district. Once Bethel is beat, I got love for the Peninsula District, man. And I've lived in Newport News. I've lived in Hampton. I got my sister graduated from Menchville. I got people I know from everywhere. My mom was a middle school teacher at Dozier, and she taught at Ferguson and everywhere, Huntington. So I got love everywhere. So if you keep winning, I got your back, man.
Oh yeah.
You probably went to school with my wife. You went to Denby. What year you leave Denby?
I lived in Courthouse Green in the 7th and 8th grade. So I went to Reservoir. I never made it to Denby. I was so mad. But all my friends were Joe Bolden, Kevin Jones, Lee Martin, all those Denby basketball players, man.
Yeah, Brian Darden and all those guys.
Brian Darden, oh yeah. I mean, it's Bo Kelly. I mean, Marcus Michael, Dana Michael. Right. All of us grew up. Now, I wasn't a good basketball player, but those guys were great. But my sport was football, but we used to play neighborhoods against each other, football and basketball all the time. Right. And the young lady I took to the prom, Clarissa Dudley, she played basketball for Denby and then went on to run track at Pitt as an All-American. Okay. Yep. Okay. So I went to Denby senior prom in '87.
Okay.
All right, Coach. So we know you've been practicing. You got school tomorrow. Absolutely, 100%.
I don't have school tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, but they have school tomorrow. You know, we want to wish you well, and you know, Woodside's another one that's going to be dangerous. And when we get to Richmond, I mean, we definitely want to see a Peninsula District team win the state championship, and don't want to get off a tangent, but Hampton has got a shot of getting there also in Division 4. Yeah. Of course, you got Kings Fork.
They got a tough draw with Kings Fork, though.
Kings Fork, that's right. But they can make the final. Can they make the final?
Yeah, they can make the final. So they play Jamestown.
Right. Okay. All right,
Coach, real quick. I just two things I want to say. So definitely when your book comes out, come back and promote it. And if you look at some of our other episodes we put out there, we like to do some reunions. We've had JMU athletes. We got a show coming out. Brothers from Northern Virginia that are Northern Virginia legends. But we really like to put some shows together with guys that played in a certain era. So one of the things, before I even knew you were, I had already reached out to Lee Martin. I'm going to do like a Denby, those guys, basketball team. But I want to do something to commemorate and talk about those years you were at Christopher Newport. So, you know, I'm going to have you, and maybe you get one or two guys that you know, that you're friends with, or they may be some of my boys, but we want to get you on and we want to talk about that special time at Christopher Newport, okay?
Steve and I are very close today. He helps me coach.
Okay. Oh, good. Yeah. Well, tell him you were on the Kirk and Byrd show, Rusty Bird. That's my man.
I will tell him.
And the last thing I wanted to say, Coach, is real quick, because we had this conversation with James Madison. In college sports, everybody's looking to make that jump. You know, the 1AAs want to go to 1A, and then once you're in 1A, you want to be group 5, you want to be Power 5, and Division 3 wants to be Division 2. Division 2 wants to just be Division 1. How are you with Christopher Newport? Do you like them staying at the Division 3 level, or do you envision, because that school, you just like I went to VCU, he went to Tech, what it looks like today compared to what it looked like 30 years ago is totally different. Like I don't recognize VCU's campus, but when I go to CNU's campus, I get excited. Like I've done football camps there and track meets. I'm like, this place is special. It's nice. Do you think you all would you like to see you guys stay in Division 3? Or I think you guys would be great at the next level, but what are your thoughts?
I think if they jump, it should be a maturation period, not going from D3 to D1. Go to D3 to NAIA probably, or D3 to, you know, a lower level D2, and then rise that way. Because you have to recruit certain athletes to be successful on that level, and there are certain athletes that are not let in the school at the moment, and it's just like, I mean, Duke's not going to win until they get some dogs in there, and the championships are won through the hood. It is what it is, you know. And so it's like when the guy, what's his name? When they played Wisconsin, when Duke played Wisconsin and won. Right. I cannot think of the kid name right now. I call his name all the time. But anyway, they both came from Chicago or Detroit. One of them. They came together, and it was like a package deal. But however, when Decker, I don't know if you remember when the guy that was guarding Decker, the guard that was guarding him, the forward that was guarding Decker, got in foul trouble. I think he picked up his second or his third foul. Decker thought he was going out of the game, like, oh man, because he was in Decker's pants. And he looked at Decker and he was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here. And that changed the game. Yeah. But that's the championships running through the hood. So that kid is he was a tough kid. And so I'm saying that to say this, they have talent. Yes, they do a good job with the talent they have at the D3 level. But in order for it to move up and be successful, you're going to have to make some amends to who you let in. Yeah. Right. And and that's just on the athletic side. I mean, it's not, I'm not saying you can't win with scholar athletes. No, I'm not saying that. But when all the scholar athletes are going to get the academic scholarship and or play on that level. So you have to, make some changes in order for, and it's subtle change. It doesn't have to be major changes, subtle changes.
I feel you. Yeah. No, my wife is a college and career counselor, and she tells me all the time, she's like, no, you don't understand, Rusty, like, seeing you gotta have the grades. Like that school is no joke, Right. And it's up there. So
it's really good.
It's a great school.
Yeah. It's really popular up here in Northern Virginia. Really popular.
Well, that's where they recruit from now. They don't recruit many from around here, but they really expanded their view or their popularity up north in Northern Virginia, Maryland area, things like that. So they're up there.
All right, Coach, we got a hard stop. We're going to wish you a lot of luck at the Scope. Tell your guys that, did you pick against them, Rusty?
No.
You didn't? Go to videotape.
I picked yes. Wait a minute, hold on. I picked against them because I'm mad that they beat Bethel, I think. I don't remember. Okay. I don't know.
Well, he
or I said
he chose
beat
Bethel
first. So now win it all.
Right. He chose Bethel first, and that didn't happen. So keep choosing against us. That'll help.
Okay.
Hey, Coach, I love your answer. Why not? Of course you can win it. Get hot. Right. You got size. You can shoot. But seriously, tell your kids best of luck. We're the Kirk and Byrd Show on YouTube, and we are also on Twitter at Kirk and Byrd. And Friday night we're going to be keeping tabs on that game among some other games. And thank you very much. We wish the best of luck, and God bless. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, Coach. God bless you, man.
Take care. All right, we're out.
Kirk and Byrd are out.